Hi everyone! Welcome back to my channel. Hello! Oh my gosh, okay, I am so excited for today's video. I did a little poll on Instagram, which I've never done before, so that was kind of fun. Might do that if I'm ever, like, not brain dead, but like looking for some ideas or some inspiration, because I definitely want to make videos that I like, but I also want to make videos that you will also like too, my viewers. So you guys voted on whether you would want to see the Karity versus the James Charles Morphe palette. So this is the unicorn. I kept it because it's really pretty. I might cut this out and put this above my desk, but this is what the unicorn looks like. I do not have the unicorn for the Karity palette. The Karity palette, literally, like, the unicorn looked the same. Well, I've already had this palette. I love this palette. It is cruelty-free, $29, and part of the proceeds go to animals in need thanks to the Karity website. So that's a little information about this palette, and it has very similar shades to the James Charles Morphe Artistry, right? Is that what it's called? The Artistry palette, yes, okay. So the thing about the Artistry palette that's different about the Karity palette is that the James Charles palette has pressed pigments. Now these are actual eyeshadows, these are not pressed pigments. So the real tea is which one looks better, or are they the same? I know that the James Charles palette, which I'll take the little thing off so you can see and there won't be a glare, but this is what the James Charles palette looks like. It's a little dirty because I've been using it. I will be putting this in my makeup artist kit just because it has a few more shades than this. So this is really to test if this is better than this, or will I still need this because maybe some of the colors are different. Who knows? That's what we're going to find out. So the James Charles palette is $39. It is on the Morphe website right now. It is out of stock. But if you go to the stores, like, you might be able to find it. Who knows? I know that back in my hometown, a lot of people haven't been able to buy it because it is also out of stock there. But as soon as it's in stock, you can sign up on the Morphe website and they will let you know. This, I'm not sure if this is cruelty-free. I have seen multiple different things saying that it is or if it isn't, so that is the only thing that made me not want to put it on my channel, because I am a cruelty-free YouTuber, at least I'm trying to be, and then the fact that this doesn't really have a for sure yes or no makes me kind of but you guys voted for it, so I'm doing it. And it is kind of a good palette. Like, honestly, it truly is. So this is what the James Charles palette looks like on the inside, and this is what the Karity palette looks like. So as you can see, there are some similarities. This one has shimmers, which I will not talk about in this video. I will be doing a separate review on the palette, so if you're looking for a review in this video, you're not gonna get one. If you're looking to find out which one is better, this palette or the James Charles one, this is your video. I'm gonna take off my makeup, which I did use the James Charles palette to create this look, including a little bit of the glow. You see the glow that's going on here? Yeah. So on my Instagram, Jenna EXP, that is my YouTube Instagram. The Jenna Experience, that is my, like, personal business Instagram. And on that Instagram, I will be creating a look with very specific portions of the palette. So if you want looks, you can head over to the Jenna Experience for those looks. Let's get into this battle. Okay, we are back. So I don't have enough brushes to do, like, one of each, because I only have one of these brushes. I will do, like, the same steps and the same shades for each one, but, yeah. I think that's the only frustrating part about this, is that I don't have the same stuff. So I believe my lids are primed. I don't think they are, so I'm going to put a primer down. I do need a primer for this palette, so I'm going to use my favorite primer, which is the Milani eyeshadow primer. I'm going to do my best to really like, lay on the colors so that it builds up the intensity, because the shades are different. Like, they're still pretty similar, but they're kind of the same. The James Charles one is a pressed pigment palette, like some of the, like, just simple shades are, but this palette is all eyeshadow, so there's already difference in the formula. I'm going to go in with Canvas, which is kind of like a cream shade. There's going to be a huge difference in this one only because Canvas is more of like a skin tone color, and the shade in here, which is Luxuria, is more of like a manila color. I'll pull up the Canvas shade in a second. This is just a basic shade. So this is the Canvas shade that I just put down on this side of my face. So this side is the James Charles side. This is the Karity palette. I'm now going to go in with the yellow. I'm going to do a rainbow eye. And I'm also, so the crease is mostly going to be where the rainbow is, and then the lid I'm actually going to cover with black to see if the black shadows really are dark enough to color the shades, or like the rainbow shades. The color I'm laying down first is B. This is the yellow shade in the James Charles palette. Now I'm going into the 21 matte, and this is Tweety. And I'm just going to keep building up the shadow in similar shape. B right off the bat is, this is B. B is brighter, but Tweety has a little bit more coverage. Now I'm going to go in with the orange shade, which is 518 and the James Charles palette, and I'm going to put that right here. This is bright. Gonna go in with Vegas on this side. Now, Vegas looks like it has more red. Because both palettes are blendable. Hopefully I'm not like using the wrong brushes. I think I mixed them up, but that's okay. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Now I'm gonna move on to red. This one I actually have similar brushes for. These are both flat top brushes. And the red, here we go. The red in this and the James Charles one is You're Kidding. Now I am getting a little bit of the shadow on my lid so that when I put the black down, it'll... Wow, that is an intense color. Now, the shade in the Karity palette is called Not Safe for Work, and it is red. And it looks kind of pinky. Now, for the sake of blending, I have to go back and forth between the shades to get them to gradient. Now you might notice right off the bat that this eye takes longer to blend out. That is because the pigments you have to place and then use a blending motion. So the shadows are kind of easier to move around with and get to blend with each other. It's not the best work I've done, it's not the worst I've done. Alright, moving on. It looks like in the picture that I'm using for a reference, there's like a pink in here before it goes into the purple on the lower lash line. So I'm going to pray that I have a brush for this. I might have to start getting creative. Okay. Now this one, this one is going to be the pink. Now there's only a bright pink. And, oh wait, no, both palettes have a bright pink, so I guess I'll just use both bright pinks in this. I don't want it to be so much pink though, I kind of want the purple to be on the outer corner. So that's what I'm going to focus this into. Just blending it out. Going back in with the red. This is going to be a very bad rainbow tutorial if you're ever looking for one on my channel. This is the closest you're gonna get. Now that shade was Skip. Now I'm gonna go into Luxuria, which is the pink in the Karity palette. Ooh, that's really pretty. And now I'm going to go back in with the red on this side just because I feel like I lost some of it and I want more. I'm going to go in, going to clean these two blending brushes. This was for the orange. And I'm going to shade switch these, and these are now going to, oh wait, no, this was yellow. So then which one? Oh, this one was the orange. And now I'm going to go into the purple, which the only hard thing about this is that there's only a dark purple and a neon purple in the Karity palette, and the James Charles one has, here I'll show you, because it's kind of hard. So as you can see, there's a light purple, and then there's like a maroon shade here. In the Karity palette, there's only like a dark purple right here, and then this shade right here is a neon purple, but it's mostly pink. Like honestly, like I think they were going for a neon purple, but when we put it on my skin, it looks pink. So I think what I'll have to do is like dip into two to create like an even, because they're going to be different. Or well, yeah. So I'm going to go into single and start building out this outer crease. We'll start there and see where it needs to go. I do think there needs to be a little bit more pink here. Maybe. Looks kind of muddy. I don't know. I'm going to dip in both Ego and Alexi to hopefully create a similar color. Yeah, I think I need more primer because I know I'm going into the lower lash line now. I don't remember if I primed that portion or not. I'm gonna clean these off, which were the yellow. Now, I'm sure some people are probably going to wonder if this is going to mess, since I'm using the same brushes, if that's going to mess with the formula or like the pigments. I don't think it will. I use this all the time to like change over my eyeshadows, and I have learned that if you like keep the shadows on, like it will affect it, but if you wipe it off right away, it kind of just brushes off. It's not really a big deal. So now I'm going to go in with a blue, and yet again, these palettes have two different blues in them. But they're kind of similar. So I think I'm going to mix and match yet again to see if I can get something close to it. If not, I think I'm just going to go in with, what is this? Playground, which is a light blue in the James Charles palette, and Enchanted, which is also the light blue in the Karity palette. And then if I want to deepen it, then I'll go in with the darker shade. And I'm just going to focus this right in the center right here. And pick up that purple brush to blend that out. Now going in with Enchanted on the other eye. Oh, that is brighter. Is this the purple brush? Yeah, it is. They look the same. Wow. Okay. Now for the green, which is the final shade, I'm going to just use a clean brush because I do have two brushes that are similar in shape and they're a little big for the inner corner, but they'll get the job done. Now I'm going to use Social Blade, which is the bright green in the James Charles palette, and just pack that in there. Because I believe this is a pigment too, so it needs to be packed on. I'm going to try and get this as bright as possible. I think that looks pretty good. And now I'm going into Wicked in the Karity palette, which is also a bright green. This Wicked color has more of like an evergreen to it. the James Charles one is definitely like a neon sign, neon green color. Okay. Now for the lid, it's going to be black. I'm going to go in with two different eyeshadow brushes. The black in the James Charles palette is called Spooky. Please, Lord, bless me with no fallout. I'm just going to pack this on. Oh, there's fallout, but that's okay. This color is easy to layer, and it is definitely covering the shadows without making it look muddy. Kind of. The yellow is kind of getting muddy because I'm afraid of taking it in too far. I definitely should have used a smaller brush, but here we are. And I think I'm gonna go back in with the Manila brush, this fluffy one from earlier, just to blend out these edges. Yeah, that worked. And I'm gonna go in with Disturbed, do the same thing. Disturbed is from the Karity palette. They look very similar in shade. I'm using the same packing and sweeping motion that I used on either side. This is easier to blend, I'll say that for sure. As for which one is more black, I think they're both black. Going in with the Manila one, or the base shade, I guess is what I should call it, just to blend out these black edges. Trying to get it into the inner corner as best as I can, but the yellow is kind of disappearing. For the lower lash line, I do feel like without black on the waterline or anything, that's going to look weird. Since the blacks are the same, I'm just going to go in with the same brush for both of them. For the brow bone, there is a white in both of these, so I am going to use that Manila brush that I used for the first color, and I'm going to go in to Flashback in the James Charles palette and just highlight my brow bone over all the colors. And I know that he said that you can keep layering and it'll become white. So I'm going to keep layering until I get that. And it is definitely happening on my brown skin, so that's great. I do feel like it looks a little weird, so I'm going to go in with Canvas and just soften these edges. Okay, going in with Caress, which is the white. And I know that this is like white too, because I remember when I tried this palette, I was so impressed with the fact that it was white on my skin. Ooh, I almost don't know which one is better. They're both pretty good. Okay, going in with Luxuria, which is that skin flesh tone color. Blur out the edges on this one too. Okay, I'm going to do the rest of my face, maybe tweak some things. I'll be right back, and then we'll talk about who won. Ooh. And I'm back, and I am all glammed up and cute. Who won? This is such a hard decision. Like, I couldn't tell you. I feel like there's a lot of like variables. Like, I don't think there's a solid winner. So here's the thing. James Charles, Karity, $39, $29. Shimmers, only mattes. Mattes and shimmers, only mattes. You know, like, if you want a dupe to the James Charles palette, then I would suggest getting this one. It is $29. I mean, honestly, you're saving a few dollars, you're giving to animals, you are buying something that's cruelty-free, which is good, yeah. If you want something quick and easy and painless, like, this is a really big palette, first of all, so is it really quick and easy and painless? This is really small. There are shimmers in here, so if you're like a girl on the go or a guy on the go, you might like this palette because it has shimmers. Do I think this palette is worth the shimmers that it has? No, I'll be honest. There are only 3 shimmers that I like in this eyeshadow palette, and that is Face, Ring Light, I think that's what this one is called, and this purple one. I haven't tried all of the shadows, so, you know, I might change this when I do my actual review of the palette, but as of right now, this eyeshadow palette doesn't have the greatest shimmers. If you already have shimmers in your collection that you really, really like, then I would say this is the winner. You know, get this palette. If you are someone who doesn't care, you don't have a lot of makeup, maybe, like, you want really nice pigmented like mattes and like the shimmers are kind of like whatever, then you'll like this palette. You know, like, either way you are getting a really great deal. I'm going to swatch some of these and these next to each other so you can really see the difference, because obviously they're on my eyes, but you know, you can really, like, they're kind of the same. The black and the James Charles palette, they're both good in their own ways. Swatch the red in this, and I am swiveling my finger the same amount of times. I'm going back in with the red, going back in with the red, just so that you can clearly see it on my skin tone because I am darker. But so this is the James Charles one, this is the Karity one. The Karity one is a little bit more red. The James Charles orange. Now, this is not the orange that I put on my eye originally. The one I originally put on my eye was this one right here, and I'm going to swatch it over here. So this is a little bit more bright and neon. Now I'm going to go in with the shade that I did put from the Karity palette. Here it is. Right here. So the James Charles palette has both a dark orange and a bright orange. Both of these are good, you know. The Karity palette does match a James Charles palette color. And the blues are pretty spot on. Like, the two blues that the blue that I used on my eye, blue shadow from the Karity palette matches the James Charles palette very well. So here's the James Charles one right here. And here is the Karity one. And I'll dip into the James Charles one again since I did do a second time. So you can see this, which one's brighter? The James Charles one is brighter, but the blue one here is a little deeper, but it looks good. At the end of the day, it's both eyeshadow, and yes, the James Charles palette is a pigment palette, so it is harder to work with. I didn't have a tough time working with it, but I also use makeup quite frequently, and I'm used to using I'm used to switching over from eyeshadows to pressed pigments. If you're looking for something that blends pretty well, then the Karity one is definitely up your alley because it is not pigments, so you don't have to worry too much about like the whole packing motion. Here is the green from the James Charles palette, and here is the green from the Karity one. So this is the James one, this is the Karity one. Yeah, those were the swatches. I want to say that the Karity palette, if you're looking for something with only mattes, is the winner here. If you're looking for something that is convenient, I would go with the James Charles palette. Cruelty-free. I just think this is a really good one. And for me, this is the winner because I do have other eyeshadows that have better shimmers than the James Charles. Done. Okay, well, thank you for watching. I really appreciate the people who voted to let me know if I should actually do this video or not. I hope that it was helpful and interesting, and I had a lot of fun creating this cute little look. And if you're interested in anything on my face, it will be linked, not links, but it will be in the description box down below. I did use the highlighter in here underneath a ColourPop highlighter. I'm glowing like a goddess. Alright, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! Subscribe, like, comment. Yeah.